Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome to another live. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We're back here with some camera news from Sony. And there's been a lot of hints at some new Sony releases. So we're going to start off talking a little bit about some updates we have with the Sony a7 IV. First off, with the Sony a7 IV, we're still expecting around a mid-November release to early December 2025. So around a month potentially, and we should see this. And now with more information coming out about this camera, it's starting to look like this is going to be a partially stacked sensor. So expect something, where's my Z6III? Expect something like the Nikon Z6III. Yeah, that sort of camera, 33 megapixels. And this will have all the latest autofocus technology and all that. Sorry, I'm just making sure that we're coming through here with the audio. There we go. Okay, sounds like we're good to go on that aspect. Okay, so now this Sony a7 IV, as you probably know, is going to be positioned against the Canon R6 Mark III. So it's going to be a direct competitor to that camera when that comes out. Okay, now as for lenses, this is where there's going to be some new exciting things that I'm sure a lot of you probably haven't heard yet. And this information is quite fresh. Not many people have covered it. And this information is thanks to Andre Pizzini. He does lots of leaking releases where he lets everyone stay informed. So subscribe to him. And I thank him for this leaked information. And some of the lenses that were covered in his most recent leak, the 100-400 f4 GM2. Now, this is an update to the original 100-400 GM, and this is supposed to be launched between 2025 to early 2026. And then now there's also going to be potentially a variable aperture 100-400 at a lesser cost. And this is probably going to be around f4 to 5.6 or f4 to 6.3. So it's interesting if you're in that market and you want something a little more affordable. Looks like Sony is going to have something to offer to you. Okay, now this is the really exciting one. Sony is stepping up to release ultra wide 2.0 zoom, and this is probably going to be a game changer for a lot of people. Someone who shoots with ultra wides quite a bit, and I've actually been wanting to upgrade my ultra wide as of recent. I have a few primes, but a 2.0 zoom, first off, is not something I'm going to be able to afford, but I think the market is ready for something like possibly a 14-20 or a 16-25 f2.0 with the expected price range. I want to say up into the 3,000s, easily over $3,000. So it's not going to be a lens that I'm going to be able to afford, unfortunately. And there's the people that are going to be able to afford a lens like this, you know who you are, but this is going to be really great, I'm sure, for people in real estate, videography, and real estate, not so much real estate photography, just based on the fact that you're mostly shooting at f8. Architecture people, yeah, as well, you're never really going to be shooting at f2, but it's going to be a really nice, versatile lens, especially for doing vlog sort of content, if you're able to actually carry the thing, because I'm expecting it's going to be a really heavy beast. So let me know what you think about this release. I think a lot of people are going to be excited, and it's always nice to see innovation in this space because we haven't really, especially from Sony, seen much in the last half year. So things have been pretty slow. They say a lot of it has to do with tariff talks and just trying to figure out their market strategy based on the pricing. Okay, now going on to the next thing here. Let's talk about this Viltrox news. So they're expected to release their first full frame zoom lens. And this is especially exciting because they haven't released a zoom lens yet. And they've released almost every other type of lens in the most recent history. Like currently I'm recording right now on 25 1.7 APS-C lens, and they just have a whole host of lenses, with the most recently released one, I think the 51.4 full frame. And right before that, maybe a couple of weeks before that, they released the 9mm APS-C and the 14mm full frame. So with them getting into the zoom market, it's going to offer some really great options for a lot of people to have access to something that's nice and affordable. Here, let me just plug in my laptop before it dies on me here. Just getting some warnings now. Okay, crisis averted. So, yeah, Viltrox. Having something on the market that is in the zoom territory is going to appeal to a lot more people than primes, because in today's age, there's, I think, a lot more zoom shooters than prime shooters, just based on the fact that they're so versatile and you don't have to buy a whole host of lenses in order to fill all the gaps. So I think they're really going to get quite a bit of market share if they do it right. And I'm sure they will, based on all the money they've made over the last while, innovating all these lenses, selling all these lenses. They've, I'm sure, made just a ton of money as of recent. So it's really exciting to see what they're able to come up with and what sort of design style they go with based on some of their newest models. Like actually, I forgot to mention, they released the Evo series somewhat recently, and that had a different design aesthetic. They have the Lab series, they have this Air series. So it's going to be really interesting. I would really like to see them release a full frame zoom lens at 2.8, even f4, something that can rival or compare closely to the Nikon Z lenses would be great, especially the 14-30, if they could remake that lens. Although I guess they do release full frame lenses for Viltrox and Nikon Z, so that would be a really great lens. I would love to see that. They also are going to be releasing 2 teleconverters, which I'm not so big on teleconverters. I think for most people it's a bit of a waste of money, and you're better off just cropping it in post, because I don't think that it really adds much value to people today in a world where you're able to crop and post really easily. Before, in film days, it made a lot more sense buying teleconverters, but nowadays I just don't see the value in buying teleconverters when you can just do it in post because of the image quality loss. So it's kind of a nothing product in my eyes, and I would advise most people not to buy teleconverters. And the 2 teleconverters they announced were the 1.4 times and the 0.8 times teleconverters. And this is all information via Reddit. So yeah, I guess Viltrox went live with the AMA, and this is where this information was released. Okay, on to the next. So Canon, they should be having an announcement on the R6 Mark III November 6th. So not too many days away, and this is going to have that 32 megapixel sensor, up to 40 frames with great video specs. So this is going to be pretty similar in a lot of ways to the Sony A7 V. So time frames for everything: November 6th, we should expect an R6 Mark III. And then mid-November, early December, the A7 V. I know a lot of people are probably doubting that we'll ever see this one, but should happen somewhat soon. And then the 100-400 Grandmaster 2 GM lens should be between mid-November, early December. And then late 2025 to early 2026, we should see the 100-400 variable aperture lens. For the people that are looking to save a bit of money, this is going to be a great lens, I think, for a lot of people. And it's going to be appealing for not just Sony users, also people in the Nikon ecosystem, because you're able to easily adapt these two. So sure, all these lenses are really going to be massive hits. And then early 2026, we should see that ultra wide 2.0 lens, and this is going to be a groundbreaking lens, I'm sure. And Sony has produced spectacular glass over the last few years, and it's incredibly sharp, and they've done a pretty good job as well downsizing a lot of these lenses. But I don't expect the 2.0 to be a small lens in any sort of way, unless it's a really small range, like like a 16-20 or something like that. I would expect it to be quite large otherwise. So now 2026, that's when we will be seeing the Viltrox first full frame zoom. So that is really exciting. I think people are going to really like these Viltrox zooms, I'm sure. There's just really not much that they've done wrong over the last while. Viltrox has been on a bit of a league of their own as of recent, and they've definitely taken over the third-party market. It's just incredible that a company is able to release so many lenses in such quick succession. I don't know how they do it, but they're really killing it these days with their R&D team. They're just everything. I would love to be able to review their lenses for Fuji and the Nikon Z platform. So if anyone from Viltrox is looking at this, please let me do so. I just recently released a review for the 25 1.7 Air. Seems like people are liking it, but has next to no views. So I would really appreciate if you would come by the channel more often, subscribe, leave, mark yourself in the subscription area to be notified when I release, because I do these videos several times a week, the release videos, and then I also have main channel content that is released here, where I spend quite a bit of time throughout the week making videos, doing reviews, doing comparisons. I've done a lot of comparisons recently, and I think a lot of you would find value in that. And a lot of times I'm trying to find alternatives to help you save a little bit more money in the end. Well, I think that about covers most things here for this video. Pretty short one. Hopefully you found value in what was released today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts? What is the range that you think this Sony Zoom f2.0 lens is going to be? I would love to know. Okay. Well, let's head out, and I will see you guys on the next video, maybe tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to post a write-up quickly on my news channel. Come check that out. I would appreciate it if you'd rather just look through that. That will be available for you as well, okay? Thank you. Take care, everyone. I will see you on